We saw Justice League. Now we're going to talk about it. It's time for Good or Bad.
Let's do it.
All right.
What? Really? Yep, it's happening.
It's been so long.
I know. It's been like, I don't know. What was the last one we did? Logan? No, couldn't have been.
Hey, maybe.
What's his name, Kyle? B-A-B-Y, baby.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Logan. Been a while. We saw the Justice League.
Yeah.
Kyle, what did you think of Justice League?
They edited a lot of that shit out.
You can tell a lot was altered.
Mm-hmm.
A lot was altered. I will say this. This is how I will describe it. If you're not going to be good, at least be fun.
Yes.
And they managed that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I think they did at least somewhat.
One step up above Suicide Squad, which is like,
yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's way better than Suicide Squad. It's way better than Batman, at least in my opinion, those are both really not good.
Like I said, my two favorite characters
Batman
that made this
Superman.
fun were Aquaman and Flash.
Yeah, Flash is great. Flash is really good. And I was interested to see what I would think of him because I really like the TV Flash, the CW's. I've watched like all three, 4 seasons on right now. But I really like him, so I was interested to see. But I thought Ezra Miller was great, really entertaining. Which he's fun, and I was talking about this, I think, with Katie on our podcast. It's really fun when the Flash gets to be a side character because he gets to be funnier and quirkier. He gets to be the comic relief, yeah. Whereas when he's the main character on the TV show, he has to be a little more like the drama of the show. So he's great. Like the best scene and this is a little bit of a spoiler, the best scene of the whole movie, in my opinion, is when he's sneaking up on somebody, we'll say, in speed mode, and then that person sees him sneaking up, and he's like, oh, shit. Like, that was, like, really good.
And my favorite thing about Aquaman is just the fact that he's an alcoholic who doesn't give a shit.
My favorite line, my girlfriend, after we walked out of the movie, she's like, did you notice that he littered that glass bottle into the ocean?
Yes.
This stranger.
I was like, I did not even think of that. And I'm like, I'm sure some fish, he talked to some fish and it came and took care of it for him. But I was like, yeah, you're right. I think it was a much better film. And like I said, I think my biggest thing is that if it's not a particularly good film still. No. It's disjointed, especially the beginning.
And you can tell the end is unbelievably rushed.
Yes, and you can they reshot like 30% of this movie or something like that. And you can tell it's definitely a couple different visions. But that all being said, in my opinion, with knowing all the bullshit that happened, it came together a lot better than it could. This could have been a Batman vs Superman level of like, just what is this? What is this? But this, there was enough times where you smiled or laughed or characters had fun moments for me that I was like, I enjoyed this overall. Like, again, it's not a good movie, but I enjoyed it.
Something I noticed, and there's probably a reason for this, and I can think of a few. They every time they had Gal Gadot in anything, the entire time they were like, "Here's a shot of Gal Gadot's ass."
I know. I was like, "Oh, come on!" Every shot of her, it's a low angle from behind shot. I was like, Zack Snyder, calm down. I don't know. Maybe it was Joss Whedon at the time. I don't know. But like, calm down. But yeah, no, they were. I think all the new characters were fun. Flash was a lot of fun. Aquaman was fun. Cyborg looked better than he did in the trailers. Like,
now,
yeah.
This is too much of a spoiler. Do you have an issue with him being alien
I don't
technology?
care. Here's my thing. I don't read any comic books. I have no comic book cred. So I have very little allegiance to like what these characters should be for the most part. Yeah. Like I've watched like Young Justice and Justice League cartoons and stuff, but like I don't really care. So if they change his background or what, I'm like, whatever.
Well, my thing is always with him is not so much that, he's got all these cool gadgets and stuff like this, but he has a fine line of what he can do and what he can't do. And it's the human side of him that tries to figure out how to achieve what he needs to do with his limitations. So like that's what's always been interesting about him. But now he's just like, I'm Iron Man, go fuck yourself.
Well, I thought it was interesting. The angle they took him was since it was like he had to learn to be comfortable with himself, or like because he was like super, because he's like this weird half alien, like he was like questioning his own humanity and didn't, so he was like dealing with some real like kind of like, am I even a human anymore? Because especially because the machine will just like take over him and like do shit.
Early on, he's whenever he speaks, he speaks very plainly, very like almost robotically.
Yeah.
And later on, he gets more and more.
Yeah.
Victor comes back.
Yeah, he was able to. I thought that, like I said, they did some cool things that worked pretty well character-wise with some of the newer characters. I liked that Flash, at this point, since there was no Flash setup movie, and they make a joke about it in the movie, that he doesn't really fight people. He doesn't know how to fight people. Like, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I here? I can run real fast. And he goes, I just push people and run away, which is a great joke. But yeah, so like I thought all the new characters were pretty fun. I really think they could have re-edited, and I'm sure they already re-edited it like 4 times, the first 30 minutes of this movie, and actually cut a fair chunk of it.
All the back
some of the backstory stuff, and especially when it's for characters that like
that have had their own movies.
Yeah, or not that have had their own movies, and that we know so much from the world. Like I don't need to know a lot about Aquaman or whatever. Like I felt like there was some fat they could have trimmed at the beginning, and they already trimmed a fair amount to get it down to 2 hours, I would imagine, because it's a pretty sleek, Batman vs Superman was like 220 or 230. This was only 2 hours, like on the nose. Considering they wanted to go, or whatever their reason was for not doing the Marvel thing of setting up each character with their own movies, they did an okay job in this one. Again, it's not great, but it's could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
And again, I had so much fun watching it for most of it, and there were times and there were moments where it was like really kind of like, you're like, wait, oh, I can tell that's a weird pickup shot. Like, there's one shot in particular, and it's not really a spoiler, of Batman sitting up from the ground that looks so clearly like they filmed it on a green screen like yesterday and then slapped it in the movie to like add another joke, because he leans up and he like says a joke and then the cuts, and it was very strange. So it's not a spoiler, everybody on the internet has talked about. Did you notice the lip thing, the fucking Lipgate 2017 of Cavill? Did you not know this? Oh, you got the experience that I wanted then, because famously, Henry Cavill, since they reshot so much of the movie, he was already shooting, I think, like the next Mission Impossible movie, and in it he has a mustache. You didn't notice? He didn't notice, guys.
I know.
We did the experiment.
I did notice a weird thing that he always did with his mouth.
Oh, I don't know. But so they digitally, and the company, Paramount or whatever, wouldn't let him shave to go back and refilm. So like half of the scenes of him are digital.
What?
Digital lip. And now I was mad because everybody talked about it, and there's some particular screenshots where it's particularly egregious that you can tell. It's like that uncanny valley level.
Yeah.
But I was like, it was so distracting because I knew to me, every time he was in the scene, I was looking to see, is that a real lip or is that a fake lip? And now if I had not known, see, you didn't know, and it didn't distract you nearly as much because they did a pretty good job. But if you go back and look, it is pretty apparent. Like the first scene, the opening shot on the cell phone video has that, and there's a couple other ones. But yeah, they wouldn't let him shave his mustache, so it's great. It's really funny.
My mind just got blown.
They would have had to spend millions of dollars to digitally remove that mustache from everything they reshot. So much money. Like, so much money. What? But I was mad that I found out beforehand, because I don't think it would have been distracting to me if I hadn't known, because they did a pretty good job. But anyway, since I knew, I couldn't not be staring at it every time.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so there was that Lipgate 2017.
Barry Allen, Bruce Wayne.
You said that like it explains why there's a total stranger sitting in the dark in my second favorite chair.
So, is there any spoilers we want to talk about that are interesting before we give our final verdicts on this bad boy?
Steppenwolf's a shitty villain.
Yeah, this is a bit of a spoiler. Steppenwolf, it's not a spoiler, people knew. Steppenwolf's a generic, boring villain, and he's here to fucking do the same thing Zod was, basically, which is just turn Earth into alien Earth or whatever. Like... It's fine, whatever.
I like that. Turn Earth into alien. Turn Earth into alien Earth of Earth, because it's Earth.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he's generic and boring. The guy, the voice, it was a good voice though, good voice work. I can't remember. I looked up who that actor was, and it was somebody kind of cool. But yeah, he was kind of generic and boring.
Yeah.
I thought, and this is a bit of a problem that I thought the movie had. It's a little. They make the whole point is that they all have to team up in order to, obviously they all have to team up, and through the teamwork they're able to take down Steppenwolf. But it seems a little bit like if you kind of had to have Superman. Like, you guys were fucked if you didn't have Superman. It's like, yeah, the team up's great, but when Superman is such like a fucking OP trump all card that you have to have him, it's like...
Here's the thing. What do you think of them just doing the back to life on Superman?
Yeah, I see. That's the biggest problem, is that I didn't care. The reason that kept this from being a good movie is that I didn't care about any of these characters, because the movies previously have been so mediocre and just like, I just don't give a shit. And Superman's death was so like unearned and random. Like I didn't care enough about him at that point. It seemed so out of nowhere, and it's like the biggest. I don't know anything about comics, but I know the death of Superman is like the big. It's a big thing, and you blew it, and it wasn't very good or impactful, and nobody really cared. So bringing him back right away in the next movie, I was like, I mean, yeah, I knew he was coming back. Like, the movie's called Justice League. You're not going to not have Superman in it. So it was like, fine, whatever. And the way they do it is they're all just like, we're just going to throw the cube in the water and see what happens. And that was fun, though. When he comes back and he's fighting them all, and this is spoilers or what I was talking about earlier, is that's some of the most fun parts of the movie, when they're fighting Superman. And then, like I said, the scene where Flash is trying to come around at him, and he's like, oh no! I loved that. All the Flash stuff was really fun.
My favorite thing in that scene is where Batman shows up and Superman just like is about ready to break him, and he's like, "Bring out the big guns," and it's Lois, and then he just throws him off.
And that's the scene I was talking about earlier, where there's a cut to Batman after that scene. He sits up and goes, yeah, I'm definitely bleeding, or something's bleeding, or something like that. And that shot looks so clearly like out of place, like, and it's weirdly shot, weirdly framed, and it's just like a green screen that Batman sat up in front of, like, whoa, something's bleeding. I'm like, where was that coming from?
But it's just a perfect toss off to the side.
Yeah. It had a lot of good moments. It had a lot of fun, like, Joss Whedon-y type moments in it. You could feel his hand in some of those moments that, you know, that make the Marvel movies fun, the ones that he did, making them fun. You had some of that levity and that enjoyment in the film. You can tell they were so hard, like, trying to course correct from Batman vs Superman and to some extent Suicide Squad.
I also thought was like the funniest shit in the film that they kept cutting back to was that Russian family that's there. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Russian family. I kept thinking it was going to pay off in some way. And I mean, they save them at the end, but like, so there's this one great gag where, because the parademons are everywhere, and the little girl pulls the bug spray out.
Honestly I thought she was going to use it or something.
Yeah, I thought she was going to end up being a mutant, or, you know.
I also think that was something that was cut out of the
oh, you think?
Yeah.
I was thinking she was going to end up being like, I'm sitting there racking my brain when they first introduced that family, and they kept showing so seriously that little girl. I was like, is there some like Russian superhero that I don't know? You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of, because I was like, she's going to end up having powers or something.
I'm not gonna lie, when I saw the first parademon pop up, I was like, is that Killer Moth?
Yeah, in the beginning. Yeah,
because it just looks so it looks pretty much like Killer Moth, just with a demon face.
Yeah. But and then so spoilers, they defeat Steppenwolf, and they team up, and they buy the Justice Hall of Justice or whatever, and they're gonna.
Did it bother you that the race, as I said, the race of man, did it bother you that they already had the Mother Cube?
What do you mean?
Like the because they have the 3 cubes, right?
Oh, and they already had.
They just already had it. Like, they buried it so nobody would find it, and
then one of our scientists found it. Yeah, I think that happened in like Man of Steel or something. Okay, I think that happened in an earlier movie that nobody remembers. I think.
I thought, this is what I thought would have been great, is if they still needed to find it per se, and they need to find a signal, and they're Batman's doing his whole computer thing to find it. And it's radiating like crazy from Wayne Manor because that's where it's at.
Oh yeah.
And it's just it's under his
Well, they had to have it
for Cyborg
to be made. So yeah, that was But yeah, I mean, overall, and this is out of spoilers now, it's a pretty okay movie. Like, it's pretty okay. Like,
if you won't be necessarily bored with the film.
I don't think you'll be bored at all.
Are fun.
That's the thing. I don't think you'll be bored. There's a couple parts early. The first 30 minutes is a little rough and boring, and
that's all we want out of these movies. Just make them fun.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, as I said, if you're not going to be particularly good, just be enjoyable if you're a superhero movie. Like it's what you could make a really good, poignant, really great superhero movie like Captain America: Winter Soldier, or Guardians of the Galaxy. those also happen to be really fun, but they're also really good and have really interesting character
I'm not gonna
arcs.
lie, this makes me kind of want a standalone Aquaman film now.
Oh, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get all of them. But I'm excited for the Flash. Honestly, I think he was probably my favorite part, other than Wonder. I still really like.
For the
Wonder
record,
Woman, but-
it is very difficult to make Aquaman interesting
Yeah.
because he's Aquaman.
Yeah, he's definitely pretty cool in this one. But yeah, no, it's okay. It's fine. It's better than the rest of them, other than Wonder Woman. So.
Yep.
Good job, I guess. Like you did it. I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah. I guess we'll give it a good.
Yeah, I would give it a good. I would give it a good. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought I had enough fun while being like, yeah, it's not good, but it is good for what it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's good. It's fine. It's good.
On our very binary spectrum.
Scale, it's not bad because I enjoyed myself. So there you go. Justice League. Good. Yeah.
Yep.
Man.